Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Ballinesian podcast, sponsored by Livasa Island Apparel. We got details on the Super Bowl 58 giveaway with Ballinesian and Livasa coming up. We've also got who's going to be most affected by this Super Bowl, win or lose. And I'm sure you've been waiting for our predictions for the game for the Super Bowl that is happening Sunday, February 11th in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. Between the Niners and the Chiefs. But before we get to that, details on the giveaway coming up. As always, sponsored by Livasa Island Apparel, www.livasaislandapparel.com. Check them out. Hoodies, tank tops, shirts, any sort of apparel. I think they still got the slippers up there. There's also like mugs, backpacks. It's not just shirts. So definitely check them out online or on Instagram, le_Vasa. You can also DM straight to him and get your orders placed in that way. Let's get to the show. I am Lance Falatongo.
Just to let you know that the Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl. I don't care who's in the Super Bowl. The Raiders are winning the Super Bowl. If you didn't know, the Raiders are winning the Super Bowl.
The Chiefs are all going to get sick, and the Raiders are going to step in. They'll be like, "Who's close by that we can get to play this game versus the Niners?" And Max Crosby walks in with Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. Hey, look, the NFL is paying us for you guys to play. We're making money. We won. So
let's talk about making money and winning. We have a Super Bowl 58 giveaway in partnership with Livasa Island Apparel and us here at the Ballinesian podcast. If you guess the correct winning team of the Super Bowl and are the closest guessed final score, you can win $58. It is free to enter. You could just pick up money for picking the right team and the closest final score. You'll get $58 and also some Livasa Island Apparel t-shirts. And then second place too, no money, but you will also be able to get Livasa gear. So definitely tap in. You just have to be following Livasa and Ballinesian, and then comment on the Instagram post that we posted today with the Super Bowl 58 giveaway. Who you think is going to win and what you think the final score is going to be. And if that team wins and you are the closest score to the exact final score, you will be the winner. So definitely tap in. Forrest, what would you submit for the giveaway if you were entering?
hey, if you're a Raiders fan, you're a winner already.
Scott. He's like, I don't want to pick any of them to win.
If I had a gun to my head, I'd have to pick. I'm picking San Francisco score. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. So I'm saying 34-21.
Nice. Oh, dang. That's a 13-point win for the Niners.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I like it. I can take that. Let's talk about who we think this Super Bowl is going to affect the most. Whether that be a coach, player, team, roster, fan base, whatever we think it is. Three or more people or persons or things that you think is going to be super affected by this Super Bowl. Just kind of to see what's at stake for each person. I feel like Kyle Shanahan, the Niners coach, has got to be at the top of my list as far as his legacy kind of rides on this. Now, also, in a rematch between Super Bowl coaches, the Super Bowl winner from the first time has never lost in the Super Bowl rematch. So that's already favoring the Chiefs and Andy Reid. But Kyle Shanahan, I feel like, is known as a great offensive mind, but not a great overall coach. And that could all go away with a win here, a Super Bowl title, and all the accolades and work that he's put in from each stop, Washington or moving his way up. I think he's with the Falcons also, but I feel like he goes from whiz kid. I know he looks hella old right now, but I think he goes from whiz kid to like legit kind of legendary coach if he is able to win Super Bowl 58 versus Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Chiefs. Because I mean, otherwise, people can just continue to say, yeah, but he never won. You know what I'm saying? He might have won a bunch of games in the regular season, but he could never get his team to do it in the postseason. And fair or not, I feel like that's going to be, a narrative that will cling to him if the Niners can't win this one versus, I mean, coming in as a favorite versus the Chiefs, right?
You know what kind of people say that? People
Say
who
what?
didn't make it, people who didn't make it to the Super Bowl, and people whose teams didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
What they say, like he needs to win.
People who say like he got that far, but he didn't win it. Those are people say that when they don't win or when their teams don't win. But I get it. It's true. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl, it'll hang on his head that he's good but not good enough. That's what
Mhm.
people will say. As far as legend, I don't know. I think you got to win more than one Super Bowl to be a legend. So I think Andy Reid
Well,
is. I think he's closer to being a legend than Shanahan is, of course, because he's won multiple Super Bowls. So
you think you have to win more than one? Like one is just a fluke, or it could just be a fluke.
not a fluke, but I mean, it's tough enough to get to the Super Bowl. To win it is great, but if you want to be like a legend, I mean,
Hmm.
a lot of people can get to one place, get to somewhere, win it once, but can you do it again? Can you do it multiple times? So, I mean, it's kind of like any GOAT debate in any sport. People are going to ask, well, how many championships does he have? So there's not so many people with one championship that people consider to be the GOAT of a certain game. So yeah, I think more than one would make him a legend. But
So he's
him
got to
winning,
start here. He's got to get his first one
definitely,
here, and then
definitely
to be a like looked at as a game
be
changing head coach,
considered.
he needs to win
Right.
at least another one.
I think he's a really good coach. So I think he is.
I mean,
But
he was in the Super Bowl. He's two
right,
Super Bowl trips now, right?
yeah. So if we're talking legend, though, I need you to see. I need you to win more than one.
Yeah. So at Belichick, I
Definitely.
mean, Belichick had a bunch. Belichick,
Not
Andy
not
Reid,
Andy Reid.
Tom
Uh,
Coughlin.
right. He's led his team to, is it two or three? I know two for sure.
I think Coughlin won two, both versus the Patriots.
Yeah. So with a crappy quarterback. And if you're gonna tell me that Eli Manning is top 10 ever in the NFL, you do not watch football.
That's what Eli Manning thinks.
Well, hey,
Did you see that?
yeah, he
Tom
thinks he's
Brady's
better
the
than Tom
goat.
Brady. That was bars. I'll give
Psych.
it to him. Bars. He did beat him twice. You know what I mean?
I beat him twice. Oh, nice. Get him, Eli. All right. So, I mean, yeah, Shanahan, I feel like his career kind of overview makes a big change with a big win in the
It
Super
definitely
Bowl.
puts him more into the conversation of being a legend of coaching. So
Who do you have for person most affected by the Super Bowl?
um all the free agents. Because there are some big name free
Mm,
agents coming out from all these teams. So whether they re-sign or not, their performance in the Super Bowl, it'll really directly affect whether they stay with the teams now or how much of the contracts that they're going to start getting from other teams. The looks they're going to start getting from other teams. So you who
damn,
turned
hella free
the
agents.
quarterback from um, Seattle, the cornerback from Seattle. He turned that one interception into a big contract, and I mean he was all right, but after that interception against uh the Patriots when he intercepted the ball against the Seattle
Oh, Malcolm Butler.
contract, the linebacker from Seattle
All right, I think I'm losing you.
that year. So
Can you hear me?
yeah, can
Okay,
you hear
sorry.
me?
Yeah, my I think my internet was super lagging. The audio cut out, but I'm sure it recorded, or hopefully. But just in case it did, can you say that again? Malcolm Butler turned that interception into a contract.
Yeah, he turned it into a nice little contract for him. So Super Bowl performances can really turn your career around. Like you might not be that good, but if you have a good Super Bowl performance, people are there to see it. It's a big game. everybody's gonna see it. So yeah, all these free agents. Chris Jones is a free agent, so we'll see how that goes because he's already a big name in the market next year. He probably I'd say he'd probably be the number one D tackle in the free agent market next year.
L'Jarius Sneed is a free agent.
L'Jarius Sneed, he's besides Jalen
Dang.
Johnson, he's probably the other corner that everybody's gonna go after in free agency. So
And then I'm looking at the
yeah,
Niners here. Randy Gregory, Chase Young, Sam Darnold, Javon Kinlaw, Tayshawn Gibson, all free agents. Ray McLeod, Cleveland Farrell, Sebastian Joseph Day. Holy mackerel, Jawan
yeah,
Jennings.
and from that, you're gonna Young is probably the biggest name on that free agent list. One, because he just got traded mid-season. Uh, two, his numbers haven't been great, but if you watch football, some people say he's been contributing in other ways, helping the D line. But if you talk to other people, some of them are saying that he's overrated. So
Overrated.
yeah, uh, and yeah, so whether he comes out and is a big part of the San Francisco 49ers winning the game, that could really turn into a nice contract for him. So yeah, free agents be the second people most affected from this game.
If you win the Super Bowl and you're about to hit free agency, uh, I'm thinking, would you stay or would you go? But either way, you're going to get a raise, right? If you're a Super Bowl winner.
If you're a Super Bowl winner and contributor,
Mm.
I think yeah, you have to have been part of the win to. You can't be one of these guys that are just gonna. I mean, it's probably happened, but yeah, I think to actually get a better contract, be in a better situation, you're gonna have to really perform in the Super Bowl.
Nice. Yeah, definitely showing out and at least being on that highlight reel where people are
Yeah,
like, when they think of that Super Bowl and that game, oh, okay, yeah, Forrest was the one that like made all the tackles, or Lance got that one pick. And I feel like that happens though, like where they focus on the one play and they're like, what if that was all the time? But it's not,
yep,
right? Because
yeah,
it's a big
exactly.
time moment, big time game. But
Right, right.
uh free agency, man, that's what teams go through, that's what players go through, where they're trying to present their best case or get the best players at the best price. So that's going to be super interesting to keep an eye on. Like you said, free
Yeah,
agent players that are about to hit free agency and could use a big win here in Super Bowl 58 to get that next contract going. um the next most affected person I have by this Super Bowl is Patrick Mahomes' GOAT pace. This is I feel like Patrick Mahomes is already like widely regarded as a very talented future Hall of Fame quarterback.
definitely.
But there is the debate
Hmm.
in comparing him to Tom Brady on who will end up being the greatest quarterback of all time. Right now, it's Tom Brady. There's no debate, right? 7 Super Bowl championships. He even did it without Bill Belichick.
On a
Um,
whole nother team.
on a whole nother team. Patrick Mahomes, though, has a really good start to his career where that like even catching Tom Brady is possible. A lot of other people have been in the league 5, 6, 10 years now and haven't had the playoff or Super Bowl success that Patrick Mahomes has. He's not even 30 years old, right? What is he, 29 or
28.
something?
I think he's 28.
Oh my goodness.
This is the thing, though. A lot of people do talk about it, and there's a lot of Patrick Mahomes fans who are going to be right there arguing with you that yeah, he should be. Most of them probably think he's the GOAT now, but there are also going to be a handful of people too who aren't even, like arguing this, but they're going to tell you that Patrick Mahomes can't be the GOAT because he gets extra help from the refs. I don't know if that's true,
Yeah.
but there's going to be a whole bunch of uh, sports fans that are really going to point to that, like how much help did he get from the refs? And it's the same conversation that people had with Tom Brady. But Tom Brady,
Oh yeah.
right. So now that Patrick Mahomes is coming up, people are more settled on having Tom Brady because his career is done. So most of the people who were against Tom Brady or Tom Brady haters would probably more likely consider him the GOAT than to have Patrick Mahomes come up from behind and be like, no, this guy's the GOAT. They don't want to see another guy come up and be like, he's the GOAT. And I mean, it's just the fact that people just don't want to, especially because a lot of people think he's a crybaby in the league. And it's funny
Yeah.
because it's the same thing people said about Tom Brady, is that he complained too
Mhm.
much. So he got too many calls called against other teams just because he's Tom Brady. So interesting, interesting. But yes,
The
I agree with you.
For the Tom Brady Patrick Mahomes awards comparison, Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls. Mahomes has 2. Tom Brady has 15 Pro Bowls. Mahomes has 6. 6 All Pro teams for Brady. 3 for Mahomes. 3 MVPs for Brady. 2 for Mahomes. 2 Offensive Player of the Year awards for Brady. 1 for Mahomes. And also 5 Super Bowl MVPs for Tom Brady, which Mahomes only has 2. The other number important to think about when considering those number of games, Brady has played more than 3 times, or had played more than 3 times the amount of games as Patrick Mahomes. 96 games for Mahomes, 335 for Brady. So he did have a lot more time to accrue those stats and awards. Um, but I feel like the pace is right for Mahomes to at least get within that that area of being considered greatest of all time. I don't think he ever will, especially when being compared to Brady, because Brady actually beat Mahomes in a Super Bowl. So I feel like if that's similar to like Michael
He'll have
Jordan,
that
Wizards
up
Michael
that game.
Jordan beating LeBron
Right.
in like an NBA Finals, and then people are saying, "Well, you can't ever say LeBron's better than Jordan. Old Jordan actually beat him." That's what happened in the NFL when the Buccaneers beat the Chiefs that year. So I feel like maybe Mahomes will never get a number one goat, but he could get to 1B goat, and it starts with kind of winning this one because then he's going to be 3-1 in the Super Bowl.
Hey,
Uh,
look, man, I will dead this whole conversation because he plays in the same conference as the Raiders. He will not reach that status. I can tell you that. The Raiders, the rest of the way, after next season, no more playoffs from Mahomes, no more championships. We're gonna put an end to that
because he's
conversation.
in the
Okay,
same division as the Chiefs.
the only way he's gonna catch Tom Brady is he goes to another team outside of that division.
All right. Who do you have next as most affected player or group uh, for the Super Bowl?
But this is probably Andy Reid. I think if they win, I think Andy Reid has 3 Super Bowls. I think he might be ready for retirement. I think he
Oh,
might. Yeah, I think Andy Reid, whether they win or lose, I think Andy Reid really considers retirement this year. Because I mean, 3 Super Bowls. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have any more to give, or because obviously they're still winning. Still doing a great job of coaching, but he's a little older now. Maybe it's someone time for someone else to step up, or So I
get
think,
Eric Bieniemy back.
man, he might not have a job right now.
He doesn't. They
He
told him he's
doesn't.
not coming back to the
That's
Commanders.
crazy. That's crazy.
Cliff
I mean,
Kingsbury. Damn.
oh my gosh, don't get me started. Uh, that's so that's crazy.
I will say this: Andy Reid to me doesn't look like he's lost that joy, and I'm sure having Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, as an offensive coach, kind of keeps things fresh and
Mhm.
exciting. But I'm thinking about Pop. Like Greg Popovich looks like he wanted to quit a long time ago. Bill Belichick looks like he wanted to retire some seasons
That that
ago, probably as
that's
soon
what
as
I'm
they got
saying.
Mac Jones.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
Andy Reid, I feel like he still got that. I mean, he might stick around.
But compared
But
to
I mean,
the,
I
I
could
think
see
it's
him
like
retiring, like kind of
going out
on
on the
top.
top. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean. Going out on top and then not really sticking it out. Like I when you compare Pop to like Belichick, just because Pop's known to be more of a teacher in the NBA. You know, like he likes teaching lessons, and there's still a lot of young guys out there who are learning from him. And you talk to players he used to coach, like they love playing for him. So I mean, I'm sure he's there even with the losing. He's there because he thinks he can still give to some of the players. Belichick look like he don't want to, like he don't give a fuck about the rest of the team. Like, look like he was just out there, like
Mad, spinning
mad
his
every
whistle.
yeah, like every day, just like
Gotta get through
man,
another damn season.
right? Like even with the way he just, I honestly think that there's a lot of teams that wanted him to sign this off season, but I think he was part of the reason that he didn't get a job because I don't think he wanted to be on the sideline anymore. So I don't
Oh,
think yeah, I don't think there wasn't a team out there that he went to interview with and was like, yeah, I think I can give up retirement for this, or I can definitely, this is worth my time. So I think he was cool not not coaching anymore. So yeah. But I
Andy
see what you're
Reid
saying with
might
Andy Reid.
retire
I
if he
think so.
wins. You can
I
see
think
him
so.
going out on top.
We'll do 3 Super Bowls, just every season. And 2 of those Super Bowls, people were just like, nah, they're not getting back. And then all of a sudden, they're back. One of those seasons, they lost their top wide receiver, traded him away, in fact. Uh, so,
The,
yeah.
the other thing is Andy Reid's been coaching way before the Chiefs. Like
So, yeah,
people think that.
people
I mean,
that
I just thought,
that
like,
he
damn,
just,
Andy Reid's had like a good
no,
career as the Chiefs
he's
coach.
been coaching
He
a
was coaching
long
the
time.
Eagles.
The
He made it to
Eagles,
4 straight NFC Championship games at one point with Donovan McNabb, Terrell Owens. Made it to a
exactly.
Super Bowl with the Eagles, and then started like a whole career renaissance in Kansas City with Alex Smith, and then drafting Patrick Mahomes, and then I feel like that just jumped everybody, kind of re-jumped, re-energized him and his whole staff. But yeah,
Definitely,
F the
definitely.
Chiefs. Uh, Mahomes, I hope you lose your coach. Hope he retires if you guys do win. Uh, all right, for my last most affected person, I also had Usher and Tony Romo, Brock Purdy on my list of people that were affected. But I feel like the rest of the Niners team, like the skill players and the defense, this is a big game for them. These are some of like all pro names: Debo Samuel, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Chase Young. There are a lot of big names on the Niners, but
Right.
I feel like they're going to go the same way as Shanahan if they lose this game, and they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, you were a very talented person. You might have been a defensive player of the year or an All Pro, but you can never win the big game. You're not a champion." So I feel like this is a big one for the Niners, who have been, I mean, 4 years ago, they were in the same situation, hoping that it was going to be a way different career path for them with a win there. But they've pretty much had to fight to get back. They've always been deep in the playoffs, but they've had to fight for the last 4 years to get back to this game. They've had changed a lot. They picked up McCaffrey. They brought in a bunch of um, defensive signings, traded for some defensive players, and it does feel like a win now kind of mode before it gets blown up. But kind of similar what you were saying with the free agents and this game meaning a lot to them. I feel for like the Niners, this squad, this like John Lynch era, if it doesn't happen this weekend, it might not never happen. Like it's very important to them, and kind of not justifying their last 5 years, but kind of making it worth it. Like all the stuff they did, all the climbing and falling they eventually did will all be worth it if they just win this weekend. But I feel like that might be a lot of pressure too. And for all of them to all have the best games of their season or their careers, even on this one day, might be tough. And especially going up against a quarterback like Mahomes, who's probably not going to give up a 17-point lead at halftime like the Lions did to let the Niners into the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, also, Niners should not have been in the Super Bowl. I don't know what happened with the Lions. I know a lot of people blame Dan Campbell's going for it or them like turning the speed down on the offense in the second half. But on top of that big deficit, the Niners also had to get like a 50-yard bounce off of a face mask for a touchdown. Like there was some crazy stuff that happened. So it all needs to culminate this weekend for the Niners, or else I think, yeah, I'm worried they don't get back to the Super Bowl, especially with this roster, with these people, um, and all of these coaches.
I
Yeah,
feel
but
it. I think like when you speak of the Niners as a whole, that's fine too. When you speak defensively, the defense as a whole, but not for Fred Warner. I'm a Fred Warner fan. I think his legacy, I think, is safe because he literally is just probably the best defensive player in the league for the past 3 seasons at least. Um, he does everything. I think Fred Warner is safe with his legacy, but I understand what you're saying with the rest of the team because I mean the Niners really put together a team. Uh, they just sculpted a championship team, and here they are again back in the Super Bowl. So I yeah, definitely
championship caliber.
right. Okay, you're right because they haven't won a championship. Well, I mean they've won conference championships, so uh,
Oh no.
they won conference championships. So I'm just trying to cover what I was saying, but definitely that's yeah, especially for John Lynch because he, he's the one that put these teams together. I know he's got help, but
I
John
think
Lynch
he's
is the
done a
face
great
of
job.
it.
Oh, he's got help. Okay, because
Yeah,
I was
because
thinking, hey, this is a great job putting this team together. Is it
no,
just like a
no,
former player or something?
I'm sure he's done most of the heavy lifting in putting the team together. But what I'm saying is like either way, he's the face of that franchise when it comes to the front office. So obviously he's going to carry the burden of the loss or the win or the praise of the win. So yeah, he's I think when you say like the 49ers as a team, they're going to be affected. I think John Lynch actually is going to get a lot of that praise or hate, I think, because he's the one that put the team together. And I mean, he also, uh, if they didn't make it this year, I think he would also been shitted on for taking Trey Lance that early, making that move, you
Yeah.
know. So, and I understand, like you said, you were thinking about like Brock Purdy. The only thing about like it's tough to say Brock Purdy's going to be affected by this because the kid wasn't expected to do anything in his career like this.
Right,
So
right, right. I think
yeah,
win or lose, Brock Purdy's pretty good. That's why I have
no,
him
he's
lower on the
yeah,
rankings. Yeah.
and then like yeah, the win I think will definitely catapult him into a whole different atmosphere than he is now. The loss would just keep him leveled. So
But also, if they win and then don't get back again, and Brock Purdy's the guy the whole time, I feel like what you call, they'll just say he was like a Brad Johnson or something. They'll just be like, oh yeah, he won that one, but he got carried by McCaffrey, Ayuk, Kittle. If
and
Brock Purdy doesn't continue to be a good
no,
quarterback,
yeah, I
they'll
get
they'll
it,
just say, well, yeah,
but I mean, how many other NFL quarterbacks can say that they won a Super Bowl? So, and was the last pick in the
right.
draft, and had a really decent career so far. So, unless you're again, you're the luckiest man in the world named Eli Manning, who was able to get to 2 Super Bowls and win. Uh, and in both seasons, the whole New York Giants fans, their fan base was calling for his head. Like they really did. They were like, I think we need a new quarterback, and here he comes and takes both those teams to a Super Bowl and wins them. So yeah,
Do you think John Lynch is the best white safety ever?
that's I think that's accurate because I also think John Lynch is just one of the best safeties ever, regardless of skin tone.
I'm trying to think. Right, Harrison Smith.
Harrison Smith is good.
There's someone. There was another white safety. Not Jason Sehorn. Hell no. I'm
No,
thinking.
he's a Jason Stewart was a cornerback.
I feel like when I started watching football, he was like rotating over to safety because he was starting to get old. But I remember Jason Sehorn
Definitely,
before that.
definitely, but he's everybody when you mention him, like even now, like you hear all the draft analysts because they have what is the kid's name out of Iowa? Uh, is it Dijon? Something. But he's considered at least first round graded cornerbacks in this upcoming draft. And anytime they mention him, they say this this is the first white quarterback that's highly touted uh, before or after Jason Sehorn was the last highly regarded white quarterback, is what they're saying. So honestly, Jason
Yeah,
Sehorn is like the
probably.
last. He might be the only white cornerback that I know of besides Cooper DeJean. That's his name. Besides that guy
Yes.
who's getting drafted this year. So
All right. Do you have anybody else teams to get or most affected by the Super Bowl, or should we get into our predictions?
I do Taylor Swift and her legacy because
What?
ever since hey man, give away, let me because
What?
the popularity she's received from dating Travis Kelsey is astronomical already. So if he wins, her popularity would just shoot through the roof, and
Oh,
she might even be bigger than Beyonce after the Super Bowl win, like close to Michael Jackson status. So hey,
I
all you Swifties better thank Travis Kelsey because she was no one before Travis Kelsey.
no. Now you're just messing. I was about to say. I was like, I feel like Taylor Swift boosted Travis Kelsey, and now
No, no,
has him
no,
thinking
no,
about
no,
like retiring. He was like, I could just
no,
go
no,
tour
no.
the world with my
No,
girlfriend.
no. Travis football and Travis Kelsey boosted Taylor Swift's career. I don't care what people say.
Jason Kelsey's brother put Taylor Swift on the map.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's right. The girl that's dating Travis Kelsey's brother, I mean Jason Kelsey's brother. So,
Taylor
uh,
Swift just won her fourth Album of the Year Grammy, the most Album of the Year Grammys ever won by one person.
uh, it was undeserved because you can't you can't put out
What?
you can't make an album and this isn't the album she got it for, but you can't because she did it again with another album. But just because you're not allowed or you couldn't, no one would let you buy your old songs, you can't make a new album of your old songs and you get it different and then tell people, oh, this is some of my greatest work ever. You just tricked a whole bunch of people into buying your old music again. Um,
I mean, she doesn't get money if that old music sells.
No,
She
because
doesn't own it,
she doesn't own it, but they're redone. So they're
right?
not
She's remade them from scratch.
right. And so they're not really the same song, but they're the same song. So Taylor Swift, you're a fraud.
I feel like that's more transferring listeners over from the old stuff to the. If you're gonna listen to that song, listen to Taylor's version.
Fraud, I say, fraud.
I don't think that helps with her numbers any. I feel like that just transfers them over.
I don't care, fraud.
Yeah.
No, but I
Yo, did you
mean
see Jay-Z accept his
that's
Dr.
what I
Dre
mean.
Global Impact Award?
How does like how exactly how the of all the one she won that one award, and there was someone else there that won like all the awards she was up for, but she couldn't win album of the year. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, Beyonce is a great singles maker, but not like a full album. Is that what they're saying?
Oh, man, that's tough. It's almost like NBA voting and Pro Bowl voting, like how people get in by popularity. It's because of the people who vote, but the people who vote for the Grammys, of course, are people who and they're not like most of them are. I don't know
The
who's voting
Academy,
because
the
they don't
Recording
put out those
Academy
names.
members.
Yeah, obviously they
I
don't
think that
listen to that genre of music, and obviously they listen to Taylor Swift because I don't even think you can say Taylor Swift is country music. It's pop music. It's not country music. It's pop music. So
pop music. Okay, yeah.
yeah, so
I feel like Sefa had a good point. I think Marcus mentioned the same thing that these award shows are really white. But of the different award shows, the Grammys, because black music is usually at the forefront in popularity and reach, uh, there's more representation at the Grammys than there is at the Oscars. That's why the Oscars are so white, but the Grammys also have hip hop, R&B, soul, rhythm and blues. Um, it's just more taken, I think, and more listened to.
That
Uh,
that sounds about white.
so Super Bowl 58. How do we think this game is going to go? Are there any players or parts of the ball that you're worried about going into this Super Bowl?
None, because I hate both of those fucking teams.
Force is not worried about this Super Bowl.
If you see me at a Super Bowl party, or if you see me in a picture of something or a video, I'm only there for the food. I promise you. I'm probably in the corner watching something on my phone. Um, there's a new anime that came out, zeroing, zero leveling. So yeah, I'll probably be watching that in the corner, or like Elmo's World. I don't know, but the Super Bowl, nah. Nah, this is gonna be a shitty Super Bowl because there's two shitty teams in there. There's a
The
shitty
best teams
quarterback.
from each conference.
Yeah, but are they really? I mean,
Would you
nah.
rather have had, what were you guys, 8 and 9?
Yeah, it would have been a better Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, underdogs to the Super Bowl and win. Come on. No,
Right.
I think it's gonna be a good game. Both offenses are high powered, and which is saying something for Kansas City, because we've seen their receivers
Man.
drop more than their own balls all season long. Uh, bro, they're not even playing Kadarius Toney, who's probably their top receiver in the world, and then he's coming out. Isn't that some shit? He's gonna come out a week before the Super Bowl and say he's not even hurt. So I don't know. Is that the organization you want winning a Super Bowl?
Nope.
Nope.
Not for me.
Cheaters. I don't know what they're cheating for, but that's cheating. But yeah, no.
Kadarius Tony just has, like, he's supposed to be super talented, super fast, great agility, acceleration. You just can't stay on the field, whether it's the team's reporting he has injuries or whatever other reason that's
Right.
causing him to not take the field. But he went on Instagram. Was it Instagram or something? He went on
Instagram.
a live something
Yeah, he went on
and
Instagram
talking about,
and
I'm
just
not hurt, cap.
said the team is lying. Said he just came out and said the team was lying, that he's available to play. He won't be playing.
I feel like
And
he get
then
kicked off the team.
Dave Moy, I
You
mean,
call us liars, bro?
right? Like,
Not worth it.
uh, but he could have been an important piece, because um, when he was playing, I think people were really looking at him as sort of a poor man's Debo Samuel, because no one really does Debo like Debo does. He's able to run the ball from the backfield. He's able to get out there and catch in the flat, or on these screens, and turn yards after catches into touchdowns. He's hard to bring down, and I think um, Kadarius Toney could have been that for Kansas City. Again, I said poor man because Debo does it really well, you know. But yeah, that's a tough loss for them, and you can still see they still put up points. But I think the 49ers offense is really geared and they're ready to go. I like the pieces that they have. Um, no disrespect to Pacheco, but also disrespect to Pacheco. CMC's on the other side of the line, and he is arguably, or just is, the best running back in the league. He does everything, and you have two people who can do everything. Him and Debo. Of course, Debo needs to stay healthy, but you have those two guys. That's already tough to stop. Um, and then you have Ayuk, who apparently catches balls off of people's helmets, and starts the greatest comebacks of probably this season. Um, he's also great with the ball in his hands. You don't even have to get him, but he does stretch defenses for people, for the 49ers. So, but and then you have Kittle, who a lot of people think has fallen off these past couple of seasons, but he's had some injuries. But what a great guy to have just on the field for you, you know?
Yeah.
Even if
Blocker
people
too.
think that's incredible to say, all right, man, my tight end's falling off, and then you look over and say, oh, your tight end's George Kittle. Yeah, of course, yeah, sure he's falling off, you know. So you have all that, and I love their offense. We've talked about their defense. Fred, you already said Fred Warner, I think, is the best um,
How,
defensive player in the league.
why is that
And then you
defensive
go over to
line not
Patrick,
eating
like Kansas City
quarterbacks?
Chiefs. I almost said the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs because what else do they have? They have Patrick Mahomes. They have uh, Travis Kelsey and Pacheco. I'll give respect to Pacheco because he can run the ball. He's and then yes, we've seen what is Rice? Is that his name? The
Rasheed
rookie receiver?
Rice, number 4.
Yeah. So he's good too with the ball in his hand. So um but then you look around and they don't have as many weapons. To me, they don't have as many weapons as San Francisco does on offense. And then on defense, they have the Jerry Sneed, Chris Jones, True Tranquil, who used to wear a jersey like the trash bag you're wearing right now. Um, uh, yeah. So, and I think you're on mute, but uh,
Am I on mute?
oh, okay, I can hear you. Just kidding. Uh, I think the jersey was blocking your reception.
Shout
Yeah.
out Drew Tranquil, man.
Shout out to Jujanko, who I think they made a mistake of letting the wrong linebacker go, but that's a hindsight is always, 2020. Who would have known that you kept the wrong linebacker? But
Notre Dame boy.
exactly why I'm always going to shout him out. Uh, but no, yeah, I just think that San Francisco, on paper, if you look at it on paper,
Mhm.
both offense and defense, they've got more guys who can make plays, and actually can dominate. They have more guys who can actually dominate at their positions than Kansas City does. But Kansas City has that Patrick Mahomes mystique, if you dare to say. You know, we counted them out. Like when they started slumping this season,
Mhm.
people were like, "Damn, Kansas City might not even make the playoffs." There was talk like that,
Yeah.
and Patrick Mahomes just flipped the cheating switch on. I don't know if that's what he's flipped on, but here he is in another Super Bowl where people counted it out not to be. So that all makes for a really good game, you know. So
Uh, the Niners stacked right number 1 seed in the NFC. Offense has been humming along, anchored by Brock Purdy. I had some Brock Purdy stats I wanted to share. This kid, let's see, this year 4,280 yards, fifth in the NFL. That was the franchise best passing season for the Niners. 4,280 yards. He's 4-1 in the playoffs. That one loss when he broke his shoulder, and the Eagles went on to win. And Purdy can be the 5th quarterback to win a Super Bowl in his first full season as a starter. He will also be the 3rd youngest quarterback to start the Super Bowl at 24 and 46 days. Can you guess who the other 2 were to start before they were 24?
Tom Brady and
No,
before they were 24, Patrick Mahomes.
no.
Oh,
I guess they were. I think Brady and Mahomes were 24, but Marino and Roethlisberger were both 23 when they started their first Super Bowls.
oh well then Brock Purdy is trash because those two guys are trash too.
This is not the company you want to be in. It's
Definitely
like
not.
they had their teams
Right.
help them get there.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, look, you're telling me stats about what Brock Purdy did. What didn't he do? So I want to hear that because the kid's trash. No, I'm just kidding. Those are great stats, and people are gonna look at that. People who really just don't want to give him props and be like, "Well, that's fine and dandy, but what else did he do? What else did you want him to do?" I mean,
when he was 5th most yards in the league. I think a lot of the stats, like advanced metrics, when listening to different football podcasts, they would talk about versus the blitz versus pressure. Purdy was one of the best this season, if not the ranking number 1 in the league. So you know that offense created by Shanahan, run by Purdy, and it features a Pro Bowlers, all pros at all their positions. Their two receivers, Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel. Their tight end, George Kittle. Their running back, Christian McCaffrey. Their fullback, Kyle Juszczyk. This, I mean, especially the offensive side of the ball, has those big names and needs to show up on Sunday. The defense is a question mark to me because you do have Fred Warner. You do have one of his good sidekicks in Greenlaw.
Yep.
I think the secondary, Travarius Ward has shown that he can be a 1v1 shutdown corner. But then I feel like question marks the rest of the way. Even on that defensive line that features names like Javon Hargrave or Javon Kinlaw, is it Kinlaw? Bosa, Young. Who else did they get?
They still have Armstead. No, yeah, they still have Armstead.
That line should be wrecking, right? You shouldn't have to send any blitzes. You should just be able to get it off so much pressure with those guys, which is how the Giants beat those 17-0 Patriots. Is their D line just by themselves made Tom Brady so uncomfortable that there wasn't an open space to throw it to because it wasn't a blitz. It was just getting pressure with four.
Yep.
And I feel like this Niners defensive line, they need to pressure Mahomes. Even when you put regular pressure on Mahomes, he can still figure stuff out. He can still move around, make something work. But just if you really want to shut down this Chiefs defense, Chiefs offense, it's got to start with Mahomes. It's got to start with making the quarterback, getting his timing off, making him throw weird stuff, getting him in second and long, third and long, so you can just have yourself as a defense best equipped to handle whatever is about to be thrown at you. So I think that defensive line is where it's going to come down for the Niners defense. And I'm not sure. I'm unsure if they're going to be able to do it because even though you got the names and the talent and the high draft picks, the production has been weird. Like the Lions put up 20 points, in the first half or so. And that looked super easy. That looked like a Madden game where the Lions just chunked it down, left, right, run around, marched their way down the field really, and ended up putting up points. I don't know what happened in that second half, but the Niners definitely need that second half to happen.
I think like with that, like how you said Detroit was just able to march down low. I think that goes to game planning. Whatever they came up with in the first half of trying to do just didn't work. And the coaches did their job going into the second half and readjusted. So, I'll chalk that up to coaching right now. How bad they were in the first half and how good they were in the second half. Obviously, guys are going to go out and have to make plays, but if you're not calling the right stuff against the offense you're playing against, that's what's going to happen. You're going to look lost out there because whatever you're calling, the other team was like, nah, we got you with this one. So they went back in, they made readjustments. The D-line, especially with the D-line, because I know what you're saying. They got Chase Young midseason and everybody was like, oh, well, there it goes. They're going to have like one of the better, But what happened is that Chase Young is probably maybe he's just a good player and not the great player that people thought San Francisco was getting. So,
maybe.
And again, like you said, Mahomes, it's crazy because we're talking about, like how you said, it starts with Mahomes. You got to stop Mahomes. That can be said about a lot of teams, but it's so much more like that's really how you stop Kansas City because you look around him and you're like, if you stop him, you stop Kelsey, right? And then after that, it's like, who do they have? On the other hand, San Francisco, you look around, and again, this is not a slight against Brock Purdy, but the offense, they can get the ball to multiple people out there and in multiple ways without Brock Purdy even having to throw it downfield or scramble, or figure it out on the fly. And just Patrick Mahomes, he just doesn't. I don't see him having the weapons that Brock Purdy has, and I'm with you with them having to stop him because if you stop him, then I don't see Kansas City winning it all. But
Yeah,
if
they're
you
not gonna give it to
right,
Pacheco to when
right,
they're
right, yeah, yeah,
losing.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Try to
So
bring him back.
if Brock Purdy is having a bad game, then you can scheme with CMC and Debo, who can both run the
Yes,
ball, or
yes.
you just get it to them in space. So yeah,
I will say the Chiefs defense might be the most underrated, slept on unit in this game. Uh, for
see,
in the
you s- you say slept on or underrated, and I say luckiest.
luckiest, they gave up the second fewest yards per game in the regular season. They had the second most sacks in the regular season, and through the playoffs, they've given up the fewest points in only 13.7. I if they're not like getting lucky, then they're at least showing up at the right time. Uh,
No,
and
it's the Chiefs. Nah,
I'm saying the Chiefs defense doesn't like have that name recognition, but they still stop people. And I think this might be one of those games where you might see like the Niners offense on the sideline kind of scratching their head, like, why isn't it working? When Chris Jones and freaking Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil, all show up and kind of, do what they have to do to shut the Niners down. They might get game planned up. Maybe Steve Spagnolo. What is it?
yeah,
Uh,
spaghetti.
Spags. He's yeah, he's been in pressure defense, so that might keep up. But
Look,
it's gonna be
all
what's
I
up?
know is that defense couldn't stop the Raiders from scoring 20 in December, and we beat them on December 25th. So that defense is not that good. It's not that good. It's not that good.
All right, so the Raiders beat the Chiefs, so the Chiefs are probably going to lose the Super Bowl.
Amen.
All right, so and you have Niners by 13,
I do. I do.
34-21.
34-21.
Let's see that if Mahomes just can't, they shut him down, then there's nothing else the Chiefs can do. So
I
definitely get
think
that pressure.
I think San Francisco is going to get out to a good lead early, 14-0, and I don't think Kansas City will be able to recover
Mm.
from that.
I'll
Not
start.
because Patrick Mahomes isn't good. That's that's my prediction.
I think that's what you got to do to beat Mahomes. You got to force him to be in kind of that you have to throw to beat us, and then you still have to keep a lead and keep
Yeah.
pressure on him. So
No, definitely, because
it's
there was one team that was able to beat him. What they did was score two defensive touchdowns within seconds of each other. So you could do that too, but that's tough because
what team
the
was that?
Raiders, the Raiders is a great game plan. If you can sack him, uh, create a fumble on the sack, scoop it up and score, and then on the very next series get a pick six, easy.
Easy.
I mean, look, it was easy for the Raiders. So I mean, if you can't do that, then you don't belong in the Super Bowl. So,
Oh man, thank you everybody for listening. Yeah. Any shout outs before we go for the Super Bowl?
oh, definitely for the Super Bowl, no shout outs because
Oh my
whack,
god.
whack ass, whack ass teams. But yo, shout out to my nephew Romeo Tumalu. Just signed his scholarship papers, and he committed yesterday to Utah Tech to play football for Utah Tech on a full scholarship. Formerly Dixie State, so they play in the WAC conference. Um,
Hey,
I
nice.
almost said in the NFL in college. And yeah, so man, I've seen the kid play from when he was younger. I've seen the tough coaching that he had to play for his pops, who, by the way, shout out to him, also who unfortunately couldn't be stateside for his son signing. My brother-in-law Romeo Tilmanu, um, not to be confused with the son Romeo Tilmanu, uh, who got the scholarship, but he's out in Kuwait um, on his deployment, his second deployment. So shout out to him for serving the
Mm.
country, and watching his son being signing his letter of intent and his scholarship papers today to be out there to protect
Hey.
the country. But yeah, shout out to the two Malu family, my sister Malia Jane Malu, all the kids at home. Man, just yeah, like I said, his dad, one of the really great guy. But I saw as it goes when you coach your son, sometimes you're a little hard on your son. Nothing crazy, but I saw what the younger Romeo had to go through, being coached by his dad, being coached by his uncle, my other brother-in-law, Yawa, two great coaches in youth football. And he handled it. He got to high school, was able to move out, got a chance to play for one of the best high schools in the United States, Bishop Borman. Did well there. Was at Snow College for 2 years. Did really good there. Able to secure a visit. I mean, a visit to Utah Tech. Caught their eye. Coaches loved him when we were there out there for the recruiting visit. His official recruiting visit. Shout out to the coaches there. You know, man, let me tell you, man, Utah Tech, out in St. George, their facilities are state of the art. I can tell you that. Like, they really put some money. I think it's 30 plus billion they've put into the football program,
Damn.
and it shows. It shows.
And you can see it.
And it shows. And yeah, so shout out to my guy. We call him Yo-Yo. Shout out to you, my guy, man. Love seeing you. Can't wait to watch you. I think the first game I'll be able to go see is their second game of the season sometime in September. They play UNLV. So I'll definitely be back in Vegas to cheer him on there. So exciting, man. He's studying education. He wants to be a high school teacher. That's great, man. Love that. Also, shout out to my new bestie, man. I miss him so much. Um, the Alaskan Malamute that my sister has, Steve.
Eve.
My gosh, the dog's paw is almost as big as my hand. Um, and from the day I got there, bro, he wouldn't leave me alone. Like, he was by my side the whole time. So I'm having separation anxiety right now. I miss my guy. I still have my girl soon at my other sister's house, so that's helping a little. But yeah, shout out to Romeo, small Romeo, big Romeo out in Kuwait, my sister Jane, and the rest of the kids, and shout out to Steve. So yeah, those are my shout outs, man.
Shout out, Steve.
Oh man, sorry. Shout out to my sister Adela and her husband Lee, because I was able to fly to Vegas as their companion. Only
Nice.
paid, you know what I mean? It helped a lot with my pocket. Able to fly back when they came and got me. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Love you guys. So all love here, except for the two teams playing in the Super Bowl.
Shout out to Justin Herbert, number 10 in the Chargers. Going to be around for a while. Now he's partnering with Jim Harbaugh. Speaking of partnering, shout out to Levasa Island Apparel. We got the Super Bowl
Yay.
58 giveaway.
The giveaway.
Levasa's got some gear that will be given to the winner in second place.
Look, this is what I'm saying. $58 is cool, but Levasa apparel, that's forever.
True, true. You could use the $58 to buy Levasa Island
So
apparel if you wanted
that's
to.
true. That's true.
Yeah, but also, if you pick the correct winning team and the closest final exact score, you will win $58 and some Levasa Island apparel shirt. I'd say a Levasa Island apparel shirt, and then second closest will also win some Levasa gear. So yeah, definitely tap into our Instagram. Make sure you're following Levasa and Ballinesian, and then hit that giveaway post up and comment your prediction. Sammy was like, you should have did like the share thing or tag some people. I was like, I did not plan this long enough. Like, we just did this last night. Yeah, but definitely get some money, have some fun, see if you can guess the right winner of the Super Bowl and closest score. And again, that's on the Ballinesian and Levasa pages on Instagram under the Super Bowl 58 giveaway. Also, shout out to Seth and Marcus of the Polyticket Network. We got the Polyticket Podcast, Polyticket Patreon, and then also Way Back Wednesday and the Pacifica Movie Starter Kit. So putting out a lot of content. We got movies, throwback nostalgia, the convos with Seth and Marcus. Also check out, again, their Patreon. Emerald Perspective is back. Stu, Mike, LJ, make sure you're following them. Emerald Perspective 12 on Instagram. And then I think they just dropped two episodes this week. So it's yeah,
Nice.
good to hear the guys back. And then also shout out to comedian James Mane, who will be in Tacoma, Washington. I think on February 29th, he's headlining the Super Funny Comedy Club. I don't know if you know. Are you familiar with Tacoma like that?
That's where I think the more well-known comedian that, well, not well-known, but like every more recognizable from Wild 'N Out.
Oh,
What's
nice.
his name? Something Jackson.
Nate
Big
Jackson.
Nate Jackson performs there. That's like, I don't know if that's his club, but
Oh yeah, I just noticed that. That says Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's a great spot to be at. Tacoma's cool too.
Yeah. Where are you at when you're in Washington, Fetty?
Yeah, I'm mostly in the Fetty way, as the younger kids call it, Federal way. Um, yeah, I'm old. Uh, I don't want my nieces and nephews like, why would you go on your show and say Fetty way? But why don't you just shut up?
So it's
But yeah,
Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club on Thursday, February 29th, doors at 6:30 for Pacific Islander Night, headlined by comedian James Mane.
nice, nice.
Tacoma, Washington.
I mean, also, uh, if you're on any of the music platforms, check out Oh Hello Marcus. He's got music coming out. He's got music
New
already out,
drops.
right? He got new drops coming. Good music. It's featured one of our favorite rappers, but he's all right. He's an all right guy, in Cepha M featured on the music. So go check that out too on your music platforms. Oh Hello Marcus, Cepha M. Yeah, run up those streams, baby.
Yo, yeah. And also Moana 2 coming this November. That's gonna be
Bullshit.
interesting. We
Bullshit.
need to we need to talk about that.
Bullshit.
But yeah, that is our show, our Super Bowl preview for Super Bowl 58. For Forrest, I'm Lance. Thank you everybody for listening. Definitely tap into that giveaway. Check out the Boss Island Apparel, all the other podcasts in the network. Yeah, and stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay balling. Love and light. Peace.